What's up guys, Mike here, and in today's video, we're all gonna learn a lesson. And that lesson is, do not speak too soon, do not promise things that you cannot deliver on. Because as you're about to watch, we are going to be looking at 5 times NBA players guaranteed wins and then failed to deliver on those promises. So enough talking here, let's just get into the video with number 5, Tracy McGrady. Tracy McGrady is famous for being both one of the best players of his generation and for never making it past the first round of the playoffs. Except when he was on the Spurs, but that doesn't count, he wasn't playing on that team. Regardless of that, to be fair to T-Mac, his career did include some notable first round heartbreaks, such as the 7-game series loss the 2007 Rockets had to the Jazz, or the 7-game series loss the 2005 Rockets had to the Mavericks. However, what many people forget about is that T-Mac might have put this playoff curse upon himself. And I'm not talking about the fact that in 2000, Tracy left a Toronto Raptors team that would make the second round of the playoffs the next season without him. No, I'm talking about the first round of the 2003 playoffs. Because in this series, the 8-seeded Orlando Magic were a massive underdog to the top-seeded Detroit Pistons, but in an unlikely turn of events, it was Orlando who took Game 1 on the road, and then they proceeded to jump out to a 3-1 lead as T-Mac torched the Pistons for 43 points in Game 1, 46 in Game 2, 29 in Game 3, and 27 in Game 4. So as you can see, T-Mac was feeling himself, he was killing it on the court, which is probably why at this point he felt like he could take the Pistons on himself, and also thought that Orlando had this series wrapped up. We know this because after Game 4, when the Magic would go up 3-1, T-Mac was quoted as saying, "It feels good to get in the second round." The balls on this man. And like I said before, T-Mac had sort of a playoff curse on him, and this curse was very apparent for the rest of the series. In Game 5, T-Mac would be shut down as he scored only 19 points and shot 8 for 20 from the field, and from there, in Game 6, despite T-Mac putting up 37 points, Orlando would lose again, and now the series was tied, and guess what? Tracy McGrady would have his worst shooting night of the series in Game 7, as he would score only 21 points to Chauncey Billups' 37, while T-Mac shot just 7 of 24 from the field. And yes, the Magic would lose this game to the Pistons by 15 points, which really doesn't get enough credit because we all know the meme, never forget the Warriors blew a 3-1 series lead to the Cavs, but really, this meme started in 2003 with Orlando. So never forget, the 8th-seeded 2003 Orlando Magic blew a 3-1 lead to the top-seeded Detroit Pistons. Ouch. Number 4. The 1969 Los Angeles Lakers. The phrase "actions speak louder than words" is probably the best way to describe this next story because this story is not about what a player said, it's more about the actions of an organization. And prior to Game 7 of the 1969 finals against the Boston Celtics, Los Angeles Laker owner Kent Cooke made quite a few preparations for the celebration he hoped ensued. Trust me when I say this, Cooke had unwavering faith that the Lakers were going to win, and that was proven with the money he spent on a celebration that would never happen. Because according to Lee Montville of the Boston Globe, quote, "There were 5 cases of unopened champagne. There were 8 unopened bags of balloons at the top of the forum ceiling, and there was an unsliced victory cake in the Lakers press room." And while many teams make preparations like this, the Lakers took things to the next level because Kent Cooke was so confident in his team that he had flyers put out on every seat in the stadium that read, "When, not if, the Lakers win the title, balloons will be released from the rafters. The USC marching band will play Happy Days Are Here Again, and broadcaster Chuck Hearn will interview Elgin Baylor, Jerry West, and Wilt Chamberlain in that order." Yes, he was that specific. Yes, he put this on every seat in the stadium, and the worst part was the Celtics got a hold of one of these flyers, obviously, and then they proceeded to share it in the locker room prior to the game. Remember, All of this was already put in place before the game even started, but if we're being honest here, Cooke did have good reason to have confidence in his team. Because in the 1968 offseason, the Lakers had traded for legendary center Wilt Chamberlain, so the thought of Wilt being paired with Jerry West and Elgin Baylor had everyone involved with the Lakers, including Cooke, dreaming of a championship. And at first, the Lakers seemed like they were on pace for that championship. They were the #1 seed in the West. They were playing just the 4th seeded Boston Celtics in the NBA Finals. Again, things looked like they were going well. However, as we've seen in this video, it is never a good idea to celebrate early, and the Lakers players knew this. Most notably, Jerry West, who absolutely dominated the finals, did not like Cooke's attitude because he feared it would light a fire under the Celtics come Game 7. And unfortunately for Jerry, he was right, because during the pregame warm-ups, Bill Russell went up to Jerry, pointed at the ceiling, and said, quote, "Those balloons are staying up there." And unfortunately for the Lakers, Jerry West, Jack Kent Cooke, and the Lakers fans, as it turned out, Bill Russell would be right. The Celtics would beat the Lakers in Game 7 by the score of 108 to 106. And yes, this was the year that Jerry West would become the only player to ever win the NBA Finals MVP while playing for the losing team. So sure, while tons of teams put balloons in their rafters before Game 7, while tons of teams prepare for an eventual victory, those teams have learned that it is not a smart idea to broadcast that you're doing all of this, because it could come back to bite you. Number 3, Jameer Nelson. As an NBA player, it is extremely important to have confidence, but sometimes if you let your confidence be known, it can backfire horribly in your face. I say this because during Derrick Rose's post-game interview after the Bulls had beat the Magic in the 3rd to last game of the 2011 regular season, Jameer Nelson popped up out of nowhere into the camera shot and said this. "I catch you in the second round." Now, if we dive into the mind of Jameer Nelson here, he knew that the Bulls had already clinched the 1 seed in the East, and he knew that the Magic were set as the 4th seed, which meant that if both teams won in the first round, they would be matched up in the conference semifinals. To me, this means maybe he was trying to inspire his team. Maybe he was trying to get in the Bulls' heads. I'm not exactly sure, but what I do know is that this was incredibly risky. Because sure, Jameer Nelson was a good player, he was an all-star at one point, and yes, the Magic had been a pretty solid team for the last few seasons. In fact, they had made the second round the last 3 years, and in 2009, they even made the NBA Finals. The thing is though, this Orlando Magic team was not as good as the last 3 Orlando Magic teams, which meant that in the first round of the 2011 NBA playoffs, when matched up against the Atlanta Hawks, the Magic would lose in 6 games as Jameer was completely terrible. He would finish this 6-game series loss averaging just 13.2 points per game, and he shot just 38% from the field, 7% worse than what he shot during the regular season, which meant that unlike most of the guarantees in this video, Jameer never even got the chance to back up his words because his team lost before they even got to play the Bulls. That, of course, was embarrassing, and to make matters even worse, an Atlanta Hawks spokesperson would leave Jameer 2 tickets for Game 1 of the second round series between the Chicago Bulls and Atlanta Hawks. All I have to say to that is, ouch. Number 2, Mo Williams. Sometimes when a reporter asks you a question, it's better to keep your answer short and sweet. Unfortunately for Mo Williams though, he had to learn that the hard way. Because after the Cleveland Cavaliers lost Game 3 to the Magic in the 2009 Eastern Conference Finals, Mo Williams was being interviewed and said, quote, "They deserve respect, they are a good team, but we are the best team in basketball. I don't feel they've had to adjust to us one time in the series." The reporter would ask a follow-up question, and if we take a look at Mo's response, we can figure out what that follow-up question was. As Mo said, quote, "Guarantee we're going to win the series? Yeah. We are down 2-1, but there is nobody on this team, and definitely not myself, that says we are not going to win this series. Yeah, it's going to be tough. We know that. We get this game tomorrow, go home, still got home court advantage. And the thing is here, remember this was after game 3. If we look at Mo Williams' stats in those first 3 games, it is obvious he should not have been the man making this statement. Because in those first 3 games, on almost 19 shots a night, Mo was shooting just 32% from the field, which was, of course, obviously horrible, and I'm sure LeBron had some choice words for him after he made these statements. And speaking of LeBron in this series, when we look at what he did in game 2, a game in which he made an epic buzzer beater to give the Cavs a win, we can see that Cleveland was almost down 3-0, so again, what was Mo Williams thinking? As for how the rest of this series played out, well, as you can expect, things did not go great for Mo. In game 4, he was almost nowhere to be found, as he would finish the game again shooting poorly from the field, as he was just 5 for 15. What's even worse is that his last make came in the 3rd quarter, and this game would go into overtime, and yes, the Cavs would lose again. And sure, Cleveland would win game 5, but eventually they would fall to the Magic in 6 games, and I've got to say, if I was LeBron James at this moment, I would have been so angry. The reason being, why did Mo Williams of any person think he had the authority to guarantee a series win? Anyone looking from the outside knows that when someone does something like that, when someone guarantees they're going to beat a certain team, that team, the Magic in this case, are going to put those words all over their locker room and use them as motivation to make sure they win. That is exactly what Orlando did, and that very well could be part of the reason why the Cavs never made the finals in LeBron's first run with the team. And number 1, LeBron James and the Miami Heat. Right now, everybody loves LeBron James, and why wouldn't we? He's the best player in the world. He's never had any type of scandal. He's a family man. You get the point. But there was a time not long ago when LeBron was not just loved, he was hated. As we remember, when he first left the Cavaliers, LeBron did so in a nationally televised event called The Decision. This, of course, rubbed people the wrong way, to put it lightly. However, it was LeBron's later remarks that we are going to be looking into, because at the Miami Heat's welcome party for LeBron and Chris Bosh, a welcome party that in itself was pretty cringeworthy, you might remember LeBron doing this.
But we also know you 3 kings came down here to win championships. Not 1,
not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7.
Yes, LeBron not only stated that the Heat would win multiple championships, but he also said they would win as many as 8. 8! Fast forwarding to the 2011 finals, LeBron had his first chance to win championship 1 of 8. However, that did not happen. And the reason the Heat would lose to the Mavericks was LeBron James was not very good, because in these finals against Dallas, Bron would average only 17.8 points and 6.8 assists, while also turning the ball over 4 times a game. These numbers were a huge drop off from the MVP season LeBron had just finished, and it was because of this. It was because LeBron could not step up on the game's biggest stage that the Miami Heat would lose the 2011 finals in 6 games. And yes, Miami would go on to win the next 2 championships. However, they also would lose the 2014 finals in just 5 games, as the man guarding LeBron, Kawhi Leonard, was named finals MVP. And as we all know from there, LeBron would leave Miami after just 4 seasons and rejoin the Cavs, completely flaking on his once promise to win Miami 8 championships. Now again, 2 championships is not bad, but when you guarantee 8 and then leave after just 4 seasons, well, that doesn't exactly look great. The best part about this, though, is that LeBron agrees, because when talking about his TV series, Survivor's Remorse, LeBron was asked if there were going to be multiple seasons of the show, and he responded with, quote, "Last time I said not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, that didn't go over too well." He said this with a laugh, and I guess we can all laugh at it now, because looking back, guaranteeing 8 championships was a ridiculous decision. With that said, LeBron has made it to the finals 8 straight times, so I guess he was almost correct. You know, except for the fact that he lost 5 of those championships, but at least the man was somewhat close. And there we have it, guys. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. I have a very good video coming out on Saturday. It's going to be a conspiracy video. I know you guys are going to love it. Trust me, you're not going to want to miss it, so subscribe so you don't miss a video in general. And if you're already subscribed, thank you so much for supporting. You're awesome. We all know it. And as always, have an awesome day, and cue that music. By the way, if you're still here while the music is cued, here are 2 videos I think you are going to love watching. All you have to do is just click on either one of them on the screen right here. And other than that, guys, again, have a great day and peace.